All right, we are live. What is going on, everybody? Let me get this tweeted out here. Da, da, da. All right, hope everybody had a great trading day today. Wow, another choppy day in the markets, but let's see how everything's looking here on the monthly on the SPX. So again, continuation right from the hammer month last month. Got a little bit, a little bit of push up after that. This is all stemming from the inside month back in January. And so we had that break there, spinning top, pause, right, kind of came up, down, hammer, and then break to the upside, right? So that's where we're at on the monthly. But I'm not sure why that alert's there. Let's see. Weekly, I may have had that on for anyway. Weekly, we still have an open gap here on the weekly. So we're starting to get a narrow range week up here at the upper Keltner at least. So let's see what that turns into. It's a short week this week, so we only have 2 more trading days left. So let's see if well, I don't know if Netflix is going to add any volatility to the whole thing. We with earnings, right, they closed at 359 and they're only down to 356 after hours, so it was a huge move. Actually, let's take a quick look at it here for anybody who's interested in seeing it, and then we'll go back to the SPX there. But let's see what it looked like after hours. So yes, you had this first bar here was this huge range 374 to 326, a 50-point range there. And then basically now just chopping like right in the middle. So Netflix did this last time too. They gave a they had kind of like the mixed results or whatever, and they ended up like right in the middle. And so, anybody who's doing lottos to the upside or the downside is just ends up getting, is going to get that premium crush, which really stinks. But, we'll see how they open in the morning. Sometimes it changes direction, but, usually on earnings, you want to see it kind of gap and hold, throughout those areas. So let's take a look at the SPX again. So that's your weekly. So if Netflix is opening flat, then who knows? Maybe the market will just open flat again. I mean, even the futures are pretty flat right now. So we'll see if we just kind of continue this way. It's been pretty interesting for the last couple weeks. So you can see on the daily, I mean, these bars, the only thing that's really over the last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So last 2 trading weeks, right? A little bit more than 2 trading. All these bars have only been like less than 15. I think today hit 15.35, but for the most part, 14, right? This one was a 20. That was the biggest one. And then you had 14. 10, 15.17, right? 13, right? So 10 and on. So we've had these really, really choppy days. The only thing that's been pushing this market up really are these gaps that we're getting. We get these, gap pushes up. We filled it today and came back up. But that's kind of like this market is just kind of drifting up right now. We're not seeing any of these, big bars, here, these big pushes, thrusts to the upside. We're getting kind of this driftiness. So that is interesting. And as we kind of look here, we had the drifts up, came down, big push, but then reversal bar after that. So you start to get a little concerned when you see that kind of drifting going on. So it's starting to get also 2 red bars in a row. So again, we had 2 red bars here, and then we had 3 subsequent green bars. So we'll see if that continues too. In general, you can see the hourly here, right? We had an inside bar, kind of reversal, shooting star push to the downside, and then finally that big push at the end, then of course recovery. Just to kind of look at what we were seeing today in the private Twitter feed, we were trading off of today's dates here, our different levels. So we had a really tight trading range today between when you have tight trading range days, right? It makes your floor pivots tight too, right? And so it makes it a little bit more challenging to get, the big. This was a nice push right there. You see how that's going between this volumetric level and the daily pivot. That's about as good as you could get. It's still not even that much. It's only 4 points, right? We want, especially in the SPX, we really want like 10-point moves, and we're only seeing here. This is only 5 points too. So we like when the ranges are big because it gives us big trading ranges to the day that we can profit on. You kind of have to have this scalping mindset, intraday. But we still profited today. I think we took this short here at the volumetric level and, made a few bucks on that on the SPX. And, didn't get this one, but this would have been a real nice one to catch. It just got so, I mean, look, held, broke, right? Held. And at this point, it's kind of looking like, okay, you had multiple bars here, on the cloud, and then it finally, boom, broke to the downside. And then it pushed below the daily pivot and gave you a nice hammer bar, right? So, basically a reversal into the close. So pretty interesting day today, all in all. So, overall, you guys probably saw this if you follow on Twitter. This is basically where we're at, with the SPX here, just kind of throughout the year. So this is, basically your 2018, right? Double top, push to the downside, ABC down, and then wave down, and then just trying to figure out exactly if this is going to reverse or not, or if it's going to continue. So right now we're kind of at a key level. We're at the pitchfork midpoint line here. We're kind of slowing down, so it is possible to get a pivot here and then maybe another push to retest the mid pitchfork. But if not, we have a couple different key levels. We have the all-time highs. We could push up to, who knows, even 3110. There's a upper pitchfork and a reaction line there, or we could get to the midpoint area. Maybe we chop all the way up into that. So it's hard to tell, right? We just have to kind of evaluate the price action like we always do. So so that's a recap on the market. So today, let me just check it here, see if everybody's tuned in. What's going on, everybody? Okay, good. So let's see. So today, just kind of looking at these charts, and y'all may have seen me several times. If I tweet out something looking interesting, like there's an inside day that's a narrow range, right? There's a terms, there's NR4, which is the narrowest range in 4 bars or 4 days, NR7, narrowest range in 7 days. You might see those out there in FinTwit world or finance world, and so that goes on the price action charts too when trading intraday, just as much as they would during the day too. So you just have to be able to evaluate, and it's really important to do that at key levels, right? So if you're a subscriber to the newsletter, I tweet all these floor pivot levels out to subscribers every day, for the next trading day, and we also have a kind of in there a think script too that you can plug into your thinkorswim, so you can do it automatically. You just have to wait till the next day. But anyway, these are key levels. You have your volumetric levels that we translate over from the SPY and all that stuff. So these are key levels, right, that you want to look at for trading during the day. And then what we look for is actionable signals, or at least clues into where we might get a reversal or a continuation, things like that. And so that's using price action, and the price action is just that. It's the action of the price. It's how price moves. It's what gives you clues into what's happening, and then looking for actionable signals off of those bars, right? And so just kind of today, real quick, we had yesterday we talked about the inside bars, and so I just thought it was kind of interesting here. Hold on. Sorry guys. 1 second. Sometimes it gets a little carried away. All right, there we go. So yesterday we talked about inside bars, right? So we had the first, we gapped up well over the daily pivot, right? So we got a nice push, from the open all the way from, what was that, 2912, 2916. Not a huge bar, right? Only 4 points, but pretty big for these days. Then here, the first bar was an inside bar because it was contained fully by this one, and then we had a double inside bar, right? So just kind of right away from yesterday, when you see a break to the upside or the downside of especially a double inside bar, especially closer to the open too, where you get a little more action, that break right there kind of pushed you through the volumetric level and then brought you all the way. So that break there was 29.14 all the way down to 29.10. So another 4-point move off of that. Then an inside bar here, right? And so off, basically off of this level, and then it tried, broke, and then it just kind of chopped around between these levels. So these are really, really tough ranges, 2-point ranges to trade in. So very difficult. So, so today's topic is going to be narrow range bars. Narrow range bars are really key because you could use those. You can't use it for outside bar, right? Because an outside bar wouldn't be a narrow range, right? It would be bigger than the prior one. Although the prior one might be a narrow range bar. So just something to keep in mind. For the SPX, you have to look relative size. For the most part, if you look at the ranges of the bar, you want to be at if the average ranges of the day, somewhere like 20 points or something like that. You might want to look for something that is roughly 1% of the size, or even 2% of the size. So 50 cents is kind of a good gauge here, at least on the 5-minute chart. And so, everything's going to be different per chart, right? So you just have to kind of evaluate, look at your smallest bars, and just go back, through the different days and the different price charts that you like to trade, and find your narrow bars and see what happens around those, right? So if we use, 50 cents as kind of a rule of thumb, that can kind of give us some, some clues. So here, like this bar is $1.14, right? So not really narrow. It's narrow relative to the other ones. Is $1.43, so not really, so we just kind of have to wait. And the idea is we look for these at key levels, because they can happen intraday, but we look for MAC key levels, and we look for a couple possibilities. So we look for the measured move, right? So we hit here at this level, we don't have any narrow bars, but we pushed up, and then we got to a 72 bar and a 76 bar. These are relatively narrow, but this was not a measured move because there was no break to the upside off of that, but that gave you kind of that, and then the reversal. So the narrow bars occur at key levels and could represent a move back into the overall trend, you would say in this case, so, or in the direction that the opposite direction, right? So that's kind of that move there. We chop, chop, chop. Then we had this narrow range bar here is about 50 cents, just a continuation bar, right? So, you know, it was an inside bar. You did get a break to the downside off it, but you were not at a key level. It was not hanging out at this level right here, right? So, so really tough to trade. All it is saying that, hey, we're still chopping, basically. You know, push up, inside bar, double inside bar, break, right? But no real key levels. You're kind of trapped inside the cloud here. Nothing really going on. Here 54 cents, not really quite close to the bar. So this is probably the closest right here. So this is 46 cents, right? So narrow range, not quite inside, but it's a harami. So the real body looks like it's contained by this real body here. Okay, and what happened? Okay, so we had a reversal. This is basically through. This was a key level. So this was yesterday's close, right? So we close here at 29.0546. So let's get rid of rough there, right? So we put that level there, and look what that. It basically bounced right at the close. It's a little off, but basically filled the closure gap there. You know, not really the gap of the day or anything like that, but it filled that level, and that's where it bounced. So I did not have that level pulled up, but they are worth having. I just don't have them up a lot of the times because it's like, goodness, how many more bars, you know, do I need on here, right? So, but that was a key level, and this would have been a nice reversal, right? That was 29.05 all the way up to, you know, 29.09, and on these choppy days, that's pretty good. So, so what we see here is we pushed up, right? Looks like, hey, everything's great, we're breaking out, and then doosh, like that, right? Push through your volumetric level, and then the question is here. So we have this bar, narrow range bar. Does it give you a measured move? And the answer is no. It gave you a reversal back to the upside, right? So now this is tricky. I mean, you had a lot of big wicks here coming up. So you're not saying it's easy, but I'm just showing that this push through is at a key level, and it did show an inflection point, to the upside. So these narrow range bars are rare, intraday, but when they do happen, they're definitely worth taking notice. If we go back, let me just go to a prior. Let's see. So yesterday was the 15th. Let's just check out the 15th. And look for some narrow range bars there. We had a bunch here that was developing into what looked like it could have been a measured move, but nothing, right? So we weren't at a key level. Here's a key level too. So this was a big reversal off of the weekly pivot. So in fact, we took this entry yesterday and we wrote it up pretty high, almost up to the 29.05. This was a great trade yesterday. And what these narrow range bars did, they were at a key level, is one, they flagged, okay, we're consolidating, right? So what we have the potential for reversal, but we also have potential for a measured move. So we had one move up. Let me just show you the measured move. Move up, up, sideways, boom, measured move. So that's your measured move up there. Then you had more. You had another one. So you had new narrow range bars here, sort of at the cloud top. Then another push to the upside. So that kind of gives you that idea, right? So you can kind of see here, and they tried to do it again, and then it was over. They kind of gave that reversal, so kind of an inflection point area. So a little bit challenging. Here was one more. It's about 59 cents. So one big push up to the daily pivot level, narrow range bar, inside bar, right? And then that was kind of your reversal. Even if your stop was up there, you're good. Your reversal here to the downside. Oh, one more narrow range, and then boom to the downside. So just use those. I mean, actionably on the short-term time frames, I mean, they're kind of, trading above or below. They're more like clues into potential inflection points or continuation areas. So again, the place to really focus on it is key levels. Basically the floor pivot levels, or the open, the close, volumetric levels, things like that. So that's kind of where they come into play. So hopefully you guys find that helpful. At this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those into the chat box. And again, just want to thank all new subscribers to the newsletter. Things are really rocking. We're almost at 100 subscribers already. We've only been doing it for a couple weeks. The newsletter has just been phenomenal. I mean, we've had great picks for a trade of the week. Look for swing trading ideas that subscribers are really enjoying, and then of course the free private Twitter where you get access to trades that I actually take on the SPX or using the 60 anchors, which we talk about a lot. So anyway, let's go see what we got going on up in here. So let me just switch this around. Live chat. All right, what's going on? Jay, what's happening? Hello. Awesome day overall. Great, man. That's great. Raphael, what's going on? Good evening. Good to see you, man. Prayer Kid, what's going on? You made it, man. Early. Good stuff. Paul, what's up? Nudie Poo, what's going on? Can you do VFF? Weird news today. Oh yeah, Citron, right? So Citron came out and was like, these guys are, scammers, but you know how Citron rolls, right? They dump and pump, or they're notorious short sellers, so they look for these opportunities, and then they come out, they have a short position on, and then boom, they just they really make tons of money. So this was price action wise, right? If we look here, you can the volumetric levels are cooked in here on the profile. So push to the upside, right? Kind of chop around, and then boom. Let's take a look at this on the 60 time frame, because a lot of times you can catch these moves. If you're watching, right? So you had a shooting star here right off of the right at the open, continuation bar here, and that break to the downside. Sometimes if you trade on the 60s, they're great because you can find that news often picks, comes in these like great bars, especially like if you can catch like a double inside 60 or something like that, and then a break there. So, I'm not saying this is perfectly possible to catch. We did have a narrow range yesterday that's kind of contained, by these levels here, and it was stair stepping down, and so we had this here break, boom, to the downside, and hit 981. So I know VFF has been a favorite of a few people in here because we've been tracking it. It held, broke volumetric level, came back in, and then this break right here was really just kind of your, get out of the way, type situation. So I think we kind of had that, in our sights as some potential there. So, but yeah, gotta love it when somebody just comes out and bashes a stock and it moves, wish I could do that with a tweet, or something like that, right? So, but anyway, NetFry, what's going on? Grub, yes, I know you're a Grub fan. So pretty interesting stuff. Big move, almost looks like Bitcoin here, doesn't it? So, big push to the upside, and then we were kind of tracking this, shorter term pitchfork, channel, and little bit some crazy moves here. Last earnings are coming up again. 425. So you have about 10-ish days or so, but it's kind of hanging around the pitchfork median line. So one thing real interesting, and we did do a what did we do here on the this is where we're doing, I think, some volumetric Fibonacci's, but from a prior Fibonacci, we're kind of at this level here at the median line. But something really interesting is, if we zoom in onto the candlestick, is we have a double inside day. So with the double inside day, right, we look for that strategy where, do we gap up, do we gap down, right? If we gap down, we want to look for like a reversal, because a lot of times there's a high probability that it reclaims at least half the range of that bar, and then sometimes pushes through and can get farther, right? So if we gap down tomorrow and the futures are strong and they're pushing in the right direction, we can potentially reclaim this range. So that's $1.38, half of that's 50 cents, right? So you got to size accordingly. The options on it are let's take a look and see if we have any open interest or volume on any of this stuff. One second. So yeah, some it's kind of light volume, right? So you can't go huge. If you go 10 calls, 10 puts, I mean 15-cent spreads, just use a little bit of caution. You can go light on it, that type of thing. If it gaps down, maybe try a call like maybe a 60, kind of that 67, 68 range or something like that. But there is a nice gap above too, and it is at the lower Bollinger Band and starting to get a little bit oversold on the RSI, kind of coming into some support here. So so it does look interesting for a potential push back up. So good stuff, good stock on that one. Stacy, what's going on? Apple. Let's take a look. APL. Yeah, so interesting stuff. I've got the this Fibonacci arc here, but did give a shooting star back here, right? And then just kind of chopped around. Apple's been really funky lately, not getting these huge moves on it, right? But we had a double inside day the other day, and just to kind of show what happened after the double inside day, double inside, and yeah, it broke to the upside. We gave a hammer, kind of took out that level, which was at a Pinocchio, right? So if you had a stop down there, it just grabbed you and then kind of came back up, got over the 200 day, and then just from there, from that double inside day, look at that, all the way up from there, 189, all the way back up to 202, right? So so that's kind of where we're at now, a little bit of a southern doji right here at the Fibonacci arc. So in my opinion, probably is going to chop around, may take a few more thrusts to the upside, and who knows, may follow this arc up, until it gets to earnings area. So this is a trade that we did in the private Twitter too. So this had your your 60 anchor right here. So this is a great trade at the open, right? Your inside right here at the cloud, right, and a break to the upside, boom, like that, right? I mean, look at that, the best move of the day. That's what you catch at the open when you get these. So we tried it the other day too. This was an honorable mention. It wasn't quite an inside 60, but gave a hammer at the top of the cloud and gave a push. Today was a much better move, and so it did it again today, inside 60 at close. This is a big range bar, right? But it's $1, so I mean it's compared to yesterday's, which was only 40 cents, so it's about twice the size. But it also had a bigger mother bar on it. But at the same time, I just like the area here. So it says, we'll keep an eye on this at the open. Maybe have a stop just kind of below the 50% kind of area. But there is some potential with this one for tomorrow. But in general, it just seems to be kind of working its way up here, mid pitchfork area. Maybe it'll get to that 204, 209, and then we'll see what earnings has to offer. So, but just, here we've been moving up and RSI has been moving down. So just be careful, because we try to do it over here, right, as some bearish divergence. So we might be getting a little bearish divergence here on the RSI as well. So it is potential, it is possible that it breaks to the downside. So so we shall see on that one. Good one. Robbie, what's going on? XLF? Yeah, let's take a look at XLF. XLF did not behave yesterday like I wanted to, but today was pretty decent, right? So up 38 cents. Nice hammer here on the 60, and then just step all the way to the upside. So that was very nice. Reversal over reversal, right? So reversal down, then reversal up. So in general, looking pretty bullish, but kind of getting in the overbought area at the upper Bollinger Band. So just be careful that the move, isn't over, because there is a gap below here too that might want to get filled at some point. So that's that one. RF was at Regions Finance, or Regions Financial. Similar, right? So we have XLF, bullish, no gap below, but I do like the hammer here, reversal. Might continue to work its way up, to the top of the cloud area there. And we have been tracking this one a little bit, I know. So we have the Fibonacci levels, right? Remember this move here, right? Downward, came down, retested it, back up. So held the Fibonacci arc, and the Fibonacci fan line, and then may continue again to the upside. So it does look rather bullish. I do like that kind of bounce there off the RSI too. Key, take a look. Key Finance, same, type thing. We were tracking this before, right? Kind of following the trend line up. Finally broke to the downside, right? Up, down, fib line, up, down, up, right? So this one does have earnings coming up very soon. So 2 days on this one. So just, just use cautious here. It does look like a little bit of a, inverse head and shoulders. So it might get a push that way. We'll have to see. And then PM. This was in the the Positive Trends newsletter. Subscribers, kind of got tuned into this a little bit. We did Elliott wave analysis, right? So we're looking for like an A, B. I like the B here at the volumetric low, and then a C push to the upside. So there is a potential there, and then they also have earnings in 2 days. So I'm not saying it's going up, but in general, it kind of has that sort of inverse head and shoulders, type look too, and it's been holding support. So so we shall see on that one as well. So but I wouldn't be surprised if it gave a wave C to the upside. But earnings, it's still a binary event no matter how confident we are in it. So Raphael, who's even Netflix, I mean, you could have said it was going down or going up, and it ended up flat, right? So so just have to use a little bit of caution. But it ends up flat, you can kind of get back in pretty easily. Raphael, what's up? All right, let's take a look at CAT. CAT's been range bound for a little bit here. Let's take a look at the nice move today though. That was pretty decent. Very similar right here, reversal over reversal. This has a little more room to go on the upper Bollinger Band, and a little more room to go too for earnings. So you have about 8 days or so till that. It's kind of working on some upper levels here. You have a pivot here up at 142.55. Another one here at 142.41. So these are, we're at this kind of resistance level. So we just have to see if it can break through there. If not, right, it looks like we have a little bit of a gap here that could be filled. And then mid Bollinger Band 20 moving average is that 136 area. So just a little bit of caution here. I wouldn't go like super bullish on this thing just because of the kind of the resistance zones. Let's take one more look back here. So lots of resistance there. But if it can get through that, right, then, obviously sky's the limit, right? So you can get up to like 159, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So very interesting one on that. NVIDIA, absolutely. Let's take a look. I tell you, these things won't pivot and move these days, but, this is on our Positive Trends newsletter trade of the week too. A few weeks ago, we had a nice break this triangle, right, to start filling this gap here. It did find some resistance, right? So it's at the pitchfork midline and also at that gap level. So you have this pivot here, and then a inside day today. So definitely worth at least putting some alerts on that. So if the market gets really strong, you can get a push to the upside here. So let's put an alert there. I would say that's kind of your key thing. Of course, if we get choppy tomorrow, we get a double inside day, and then that'll be even more tradable, right? So, but no one likes to get stuck in there, especially with options. There and below. Okay. Yeah, so NVIDIA definitely a good one for the watch list. ACB. Let's see. Ooh, big move today. I like that push. So that basically reclaimed the whole bar right there, filled a gap. So that looks really bullish. I think I have an old trend line here too. So potential consolidation area and then push to the upside. So that looks actually looks pretty strong. And BA. Good old Boeing. Let's see. Wow, yeah, they had a little bit of look at that. So remember, I just showed you the inside day on NVIDIA. Here's your inside day on Boeing, right? So inside day, look at that break to the upside right there, 377 on the break. So you had basically 378, almost, wow, 6-point move, which is pretty solid. Still a gap below, still a gap above. At this point, spinning top day, let's see where we open tomorrow and just kind of look at the price action there. So, but in general, it has been, relatively bullish on the radar overall because of the pivot right here at the pitchfork level. So it kind of pushed up inside day, then another push back to the upside. So maybe a little more consolidation, and then it'll just keep, kind of working. So very, very interesting. Good stuff. Oh, Harvey, what's going on, Walmart? So this was our Positive Trends newsletter trade of the week last week, and so far so good. It is. Let's see. So let's take a look. Where's my daily? So weekly, super strong, right? Hammer week, big push to the upside, more move, right? What did we say our target was? Yeah, I mean, we're all over that. So this is what we caught here in the Positive Trends newsletter, swing trade. Hammer day, we had one consolidation day that broke out of the cloud and just gave this, look at that huge, beautiful move to the upside. So Harvey, this is now over the upper Bollinger Band with overbought on the RSI. So definitely a great place to take profits. Look at that, touched our target. Remember, we had the 61.8, well, the 50% was our first target, and then the 61.8 extension kind of nailed that. So it's, in my opinion, this is a great place to at least take some profit. And then we have this kind of narrow range, right? We talked about that, relatively compared to the other bars, doji bar here over the upper Bollinger Band. So this is actually a short setup at this point, where you could at least get a little bit of a move to the downside. I would say imagine, not much. I mean, maybe just back to this 102. Area, maybe $1 down until the moving averages catch up, and then it could push back to the upside. So wow, incredible move off of that one. So nice one, Harvey. Mike, what's going on? Oh yeah, Intel news after hours. So yeah, they got slammed on what is that? They're no longer pursuing 5G, whatever that is. So looks like a little pop after hours though. We'll see how that ends up trading. Oh my goodness. Wow. So it got crushed here when and then it just went up. But what did they say? They're getting bought out by Apple or something like that. Wow, that's incredible. I mean, it was just all the same negative stuff, and then it ended up watching. I guess a bunch of shorts covered after hours. Goodness gracious, look at that. Incredible. This is the Wild West out here after market, right? So just be careful with that. Good stuff. Yeah, quoting 5Gs. Yeah, investors are happy now. That's right. Originally they didn't like it. Then they're happy. That's awesome. Okay, let's keep going. JS, what's going on? Yeti and Smar. Cool. Yeti had I think a good write up. Did they have a good write up in Barron's this weekend? I can't remember. So they go whatever that means to you guys. So let's see. So yeah, holding these volumetric levels here intraday. So if you're day trading this thing, just be careful, right? This 32 level is 3220 level is has got some resistance on it. Let's check out the daily. So now we have a reversal, right? So not really a setup, but it's kind of just floating around up here. It's got a little bit of a gap. Well, no, it filled the gap here. Kind of just floating around up here. I don't really see too much going on with this. Let me check out the daily. Yeah, but very strong uptrend. So let's see. Let's get a trend line going. I'd rather get a channel on this. Just kind of. All right, let's do this. Let's do a fib arc. Here. Trough to peak. All right, holding those levels, right? Held. Okay, not quite an inside day, but to me it just looks like maybe a little bit of a test again, and then before it wants to go back up. Again, we had that bearish divergence, here. If we activate this again and just kind of push it here, it's really bearish divergence there. Okay, and we'll just kind of see if this move is over, right? So to me, it kind of looks like a this is big impulsive move down, maybe ABC2. It could be working on another wave back up, but to me it just looks like it wants a little bit more pullback before possibly another bounce, which could correspond with earnings coming up. So and then SMAR, SMAR. Okay, yeah. So this was our pitchfork level, fib levels, held kind of at this key volumetric level here too, so really needs to get back into this pitchfork, get above 41 and a half, and then you might have a shot again to the median line. So that's smart. Paul, what's going on? IWM inside day, cool. I'm sure you've got the count on this one, but we have got, wow, again, some people say that the IWM is kind of leads the market, and so this is actually kind of a key area right here. So we have a kind of a big resistance zone. Oh, let me get that there. Key resistance zone, kind of here. So it's kind of banging into resistance, right? Double top here, kind of came back in, kind of trying to work it again. So this inside day is very important. So if it can break to the upside and get through that level here, 159.50, then it may be able to push, right? It's got some potential to the upside for sure. So, but right now it looks like it's running into some resistance. But I do like this 2B reversal bottom. So here, well, 2B reversal. So one, a B, right there's your B reversal over this bar, right, is the key bar that pierced the low, right? So that breaks over that 154.51, which was a prior high here. So that was prior resistance. Okay, and then boom, breaks to the upside. So this actually may be the break. It's kind of just a pullback, and then again working to the upside. So I do see some potential there as well. Nice one, Paul. Jay, what's going on? Thoughts and opinions on FCAU? So FCAU. So that is our Fiat Chrysler. Yeah, tough to trade. Kind of a gappy, gappy little stock. So, but to me, it looks like it's kind of working its way, in a channel here. So it's kind of just so you can kind of see. That type of thing. It could potentially be a little bit of a breakout here. So yeah, so just watch if it kind of comes back, hits that 1550, and then goes back up. If not, and it gets back in the channel, right? You may see some more downside back to the volume levels of like 11 or something like that. So a couple pivots here. You have 1744, 1850, right? 20. So I mean, there's a couple pivot targets that are above. So I do like how it is kind of getting out of this channel here too. So so that looks pretty good. Viot. Viomi Technology, huge move today. Nice. Let's see what kind of volume came in. So 1 million shares as opposed to regularly kind of like 100,000 or less. So yeah, this is going to get some interest, right? So it's over $10, right? So institutions start coming in. This is a key level to look at. Look for some consolidation, maybe an inside day, or a little bit of a maybe you'll see like a wedge or like a like a bear flag or something. I'm sorry, a bull flag kind of come out of this somewhere, and then see if it breaks to the upside on that. But it's going to start getting some interest in that with that type of volume and that type of push to the upside. So there's definitely some big people in it right now. RLGT. Similar. I mean, big push. Let's see. Does this thing go back? How far does this thing go back? So 8, big push. The only difference is obviously this is below $10. So in terms of like institutional interest, stuff like that is usually limited because some of them aren't even allowed to buy unless it's over $10. But look at that. There's that Fibonacci high to low, right? That gave you an area break to the upside. So again, very parabolic. So obviously always look for, some sort of pullback, if you like this, for a potential position. But you definitely don't want to chase that. Of course, if it goes to $14 on that, don't blame this guy, right? So, but anyway, nice stuff. I like that. And then RLG, yeah, so we already got RLGT. Good. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it, man. Sandeep, what's going on? Good to see you, man. Yeah, let's take a look at SPY. So we looked at, obviously, SPX, but let's take a look at SPY. I do like looking at SPY here because it does give you kind of the intraday volume levels here. So I'll have to, kind of re-put those levels in. But today, obviously a lot of down moves today. Tried to hold some levels, broke down, then came back up, right? So it looks like has a couple little moves to the upside, but in general, just like the SPX, we're still, really, really close to the all-time highs. Again, as the pitchfork showed on the prior video, there may be a little bit of a pullback before going back up. There are some gaps below, so be cautious there. But we're only 293.94, 290. What are we? 3 points away. Less than 4 points away from all-time highs. So it does seem like that would be a chance. Are we going to run into a lot of resistance there? I don't know. Or there might be a lot of people that want to buy there too, just to be a part of it, right? So just be careful with that. Netflix again, after hours, really choppy. It had a 50-point range on the, that first 30-minute bar after hours, and we are currently, look at that first couple minutes it did that. Now look at that. Now we're just kind of coiling after hours. So look and see where we're at in the morning on this one. But in general, we should be about the same range. And we've had this this channel that we've been working up. So it's probably down here. Actually, it's only down here 326. So if it comes back in the channel and gets bullish, this thing can move, right? So tomorrow. So definitely worth keeping an eye on. 15 orb. Price action type stuff tomorrow. So we'll see, right? So we had this here. We're going to be gapping down into, gosh, we're not even getting in the cloud here. So it might close. Some people might flush it just because they don't want to be in it. So you get 354, and then you could potentially get a bounce. Look at this, guys. Actually, wow. So didn't even notice this, but total morning star setup right here. So now you have this big range bar right here. Real body closes below it, and then you have a bar. The following bar is a green bar that pierces the majority of the range of the first bar. This is a morning star reversal, right? So this down move, morning star, and then obviously it's tough trading to earnings, but this might give us a push to the upside tomorrow too. Just that whole setup in and of itself. So definitely worth keeping an eye on. So it'll be nice when the premiums are crushed tomorrow, so we can get a nice entry for ourselves. Right? Look at the volumes already high, today. So that's pretty cool. Cool day. Nice one on that. And then your favorite LGND. Lagging pharmaceuticals. Okay, so look at that bar right there. Totally rejected upper Bollinger Band. Kind of like working its way back down. You do have 3 lower lows, so oftentimes on the dailies, oftentimes that does warrant a reversal, right? I mean, actually, it's not 3 in a row. Sorry. So this was 3, 1, 2, 3 lower lows in a row. Then you had that nice push to the upside. So just look and see what the price action is tomorrow. But in general, overall, big picture wise, still holding your volumetric level right there, right? So I mean, if it pushes down a little bit, again, not bad. If it hits one, especially if it hits that 120 level, right? 120.75, 121 might not be a bad place to to look long with a tight stop, that type of thing. So so there is some potential there. Good stuff, man. Appreciate Sandeep. Merritt. Hello. I asked earlier for UNH. Hey, Merritt. Yeah, of course. I've got that in my notes here to get to, of course. But yeah, let's take a look. So UNH for my good friend Siempre. Did you ask for that earlier? Yeah. This is, you messaged me earlier, right? Yeah. So yeah, so UNH, of course. So yeah, this is a great example. So they had earnings, they had a beat on earnings, right? So and then they ended up getting crushed, right? So let's just kind of take a look at what happened there. So overall, kind of big picture. Let's see, where are we? Sorry, guys, got a little carried away here. Okay, so overall, big picture, right? It's pretty extended in general, right? Had a huge move to the upside. You can see this channel right here. So once we broke that channel, right, things started to get a little bit ugly, right? So look, breakdown of channel, we have a pitchfork right there too. Retest of channel, down. Failed test of channel, big push down, right? So double top, down, right? triangle here, consolidation, right? And then move. Okay, so just kind of daily type picture. It's still, I don't see any support until it gets down to like at least this 203 area. But let's look intraday too, how it could have been traded potentially. So we like to trade the 15 orb on news. So here's your 15 orb right here, big one, right? But look at that, break to the downside, 229 all the way down. Ultimately, that would be to 219. So 10-point move right there, right? Bear flag. Boom to the downside, 215. So trading these intraday, now that's a big bar. The only reason I don't like trading big bars, this is very directional, right? If you have a big bar with like big upper shadow, lower shadow, those are a lot harder to trade. But this is like saying, this is straight up saying I am going down, right? So big red bar, big push to the downside, gap up, down, and then that continuation move. Just a beautiful trade to the downside. So hopefully that helps, Mary. So. Good stuff. I might look for entry tomorrow. That should be, in fact, you guys are reminding me of a couple of these. Let me put these on the list. So let me put UNH on the 30-minute orb for tomorrow. Of course, we have, J&J was, boring today, but, it did have a big move if you bought right at the open. UNH, and then, let's get Intel for tomorrow. Yeah, that should be pretty interesting. So watch that 15 orb tomorrow too, Mike. No problem, Nephrite, my pleasure. Love Machine Polonaise, BH1. Can you please show where your daily and weekly pivots on SPX come from? I can, but the easiest way for me to do that is to put a link to a prior video on it. So let me do that. So that is, let me put levels. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up we got trading levels. There. And then if you still have questions on it, just shoot me a DM and I'll send you some more links to it and all that stuff. So just put in the bottom there a link to stuff on trading levels. So absolutely. And do you have any video on when to open a trade on options side based on price action shortly after market opens? So yes. So that is using the 60 anchors. I wrote a book on it. So newsletter subscribers get that ebook free. It's a draft of it, and so if you check that out, you can get that. So I kind of talk a lot about it there. But all the stuff I've done on the 60s and basically those 60 anchors, those inside bars at the end of the day is a great way to trade the open. And usually narrow. So if you ever see me tweet out on Twitter like the 60 anchor setup, so tomorrow is Apple and Tesla, right? So just kind of a real quick example. So you have Tesla right here. If we go to this bar right here, so you can see we have an inside bar. Right? I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah. Was it not an inside bar? Not quite inside. It really looked like it kind of tricked me out here with the VWAP. So I'm gonna have to make a little note there. But I think we had one here today. If I'm not. No, gosh, it gets really tricky on those, but really looks like it kind of blended in, kind of tricked me with the VWAP right there. But in general, if this were an inside, it's still worth looking at as a break. But if this were an inside bar, right, we'd look to trade that at the open on a break of this inside bar to the downside, right? And so you could get that push, push down. So that's definitely one thing to look. I mean, you can see it kind of did it here. This wasn't quite an inside bar, but that spinning top. So you use those levels as key levels at the open, right? Failed, breaks to the downside, kind of can't hold that volumetric level, and then it pushed, right? So here, same thing, kind of hammer bar, almost inside bar, and then that break here to the upside. You can catch that move there, and then you just kind of trail your stops to the upside. So it doesn't have to be inside, right? You can use a hammer, you can use other tools as well. Insides are so much fun to trade because they really kind of can give you a better idea of direction. So with that, I mean, trading right at the open is really, really tricky, right? So that's one of the key ways to do it. Otherwise, you kind of have a 50-50% chance. I mean, you have a higher probability if you go to say like SPX, if you gap above, somewhat significantly above, your daily pivot. So today was the 16th. So here we got pretty significantly above it. Like you should get at least a little move to the upside, right? So for the most part, you see that. But yesterday we did. I mean, it's a question of like what's relative. I mean, yesterday was really flat open. Today was a nice open, so you got that push. We were flat open yesterday. We gapped up a little bit, and then it kind of came back in. It was over the daily pivot level, but not much of a push to the upside. The day before, decent gap up. We were below. Let's see, that was the the 12th. Let's see if I still have that. Yeah, there. So the daily pivot was down here at the time. We got way above it, so you got that nice push to the upside. So you can use that as an estimate as long as you trade, kind of over those daily pivot levels, and if you're over like a key, even other key resistance levels, right? You're taking out prior levels, and so people are going to cover, right? Shorts are going to cover there, so you can usually get a little bit of a squeeze off of that at the open. So just a couple little techniques there, and I've done another video in the past on gaps and looking at that as well. So. Anyway, hopefully that's helpful. Appreciate you tuning in. Stacy, of course, no problem. Harvey, you the man, Harvey. Thank you, though. JS, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, my pleasure. Net price Xilinx, save time. Yeah, let's take a look at Xilinx, and then we'll get rolling because it is getting close to bedtime. And next. How's old Xilinx doing? Is it still rocking? Yeah, 92 cents today. Gosh, when these things go, they go. And when these institutions want it, they buy it up. Look at that. Amazing. So that was pretty much your, any of these pullbacks have just been really viable, right, on this thing. So you had this here, it was pretty close, doji right here, and upper Bollinger Band, overbought, pull to the downside, right? This right here, nice place to get a pullback, right, on that. Look at that. So there's another Morningstar setup too, right? You have this bar, real body blow up, pierce above it, and then boom to the upside, right? So, I mean, getting a little toppy here, but when they're buying, they're buying. So just wait for pullbacks on these ones. So yeah, but old Xilinx, incredible stuff, man. You're rocking an FRI, man. Good stuff. Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for tuning in, Paul. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. Harvey, appreciate it. Jay, thank you. Got an award, yay. Yeah, guys. Okay, well, appreciate everybody tuning in. Have a great night. Remember, always remember your risk first, right? So you can stay safe, so you can stay in the game. I will talk to you guys tomorrow, and have a great night.